In this video, we're talking all about St. Charles. So St. Charles is one of the bigger suburbs of St. Louis. It's got a lot to offer. It's got a ton of history, so much stuff going on, and a bunch of different types of neighborhoods and homes you'll see. So let's talk all about it. Hey, welcome back to the video. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Lana. I'm one of the agents on the Living St. Louis channel.
So this is Lana's first video. She's one of the agents on our team, and Lana's actually a native, so she grew up in the area.
Yep, grew up in St. Charles County, and I actually lived in one of the neighborhoods in St. Charles called Newtown. It is a super cool area. It's like its own little town. There's lakes, ponds, you can swim in it, different types of houses, restaurants, bars. There's a church, a dentist. I mean, you got everything you really need.
Yeah, it really is like its own little self-contained community. So we'll talk a little bit about that in this video. St. Charles is a pretty historic city. It's actually one of the oldest cities on the Missouri River, but it's also got a bunch of new parts to it. So if you're going to be living in St. Charles, you are in St. Charles County. So you're kind of out in the suburbs. You're a little bit removed from the city of St. Louis, and you're like one step outside the county. So to get over to St. Charles, you're crossing the Missouri River. And what's cool about St. Charles, you have really three ways of getting over there. So you have 70, 370, and 364 as kind of your main bridges to get over to St. Charles.
St. Charles is a super central location.
It is. And it's also pretty much the closest you can be to the city and still live in St. Charles County. So if you like the idea of moving out there where you can get a little bit more bang for your buck compared to parts in the city and the county, but you don't want to be as far out as maybe Wentzville or Lake St. Louis. St. Charles, I mean, you can live there and still be in St. Louis City in 25, 30 minutes, depending on where you are. And hey, by the way, if you are looking at living somewhere in the St. Charles area or you're moving somewhere else in St. Louis, send us an email or send us a text if you'd like help buying a house, building a house, selling a house, whatever that looks like. We are a group of realtors, and helping you guys who watch the videos when you guys reach out is the best part of the job.
We absolutely love to hear from you, and we love to help you. So hopefully we hear from you soon.
Yeah, get in touch with us. One of the coolest parts of St. Charles is the historic Main Street District. That's something you're going to hear about anytime you talk about St. Charles. The historic district is right along the Missouri River. It goes along the Katy Trail, and it is one of the oldest parts of St. Charles from when settlers originally came here. Tons of cute shops, restaurants, cafes. It is definitely one of the highlights of the area.
It is the definition of historic charm, I would say. There's so much to offer, from little restaurants to little shops, ice cream shops, dessert shops. There's tons of events that happen, honestly, all throughout the year. Starting in September to October, you have Oktoberfest. That's like a really fun weekend where they black out all along the riverfront, and you have bands, tents, the German vibes, tall glasses with German beer.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so fun. And then during the day, they offer a lot of stuff, from wiener dog races. Why am I going?
No, that's funny.
I was like, wiener dogs. And then I'm like, holding my... And it's so fun. It's open to the public. There are lots of people there. And you have anything from live bands to German dancing to wiener dog races. After that, we hit December, and all of December, Streets of St. Charles is packed with Christmas lights, Christmas carolers. You will love Christmas time around St. Charles. It is so cool. Very family-oriented, friend-oriented.
It is. And especially like during the wintertime, if you have snow and you got the Christmas lights up, historic St. Charles looks like it's straight out of a movie.
It's
like it really has that vibe. And kind of like you were saying, like year round, there's stuff to do. It is the epicenter of events, concerts. It all happens around Main Street. And Main Street's really cool because if you just really want that local charm of being able to walk into a local bakery or a coffee shop or get a drink at a bar afterwards, it just has all of these very local businesses that have been there, you know, family businesses for generations. It's kind of different compared to a lot of the other parts of St. Charles County that tend to be more, you know, commercial with bigger franchises and chains, whereas St. Charles is kind of the opposite, where it's just like this local charm. Even if you don't live in the area and you just want to plan a day trip, it is really cool. And it has kind of all these touristy things you can do. You can get on the trolley, which will kind of take you up and down all through the historic district if you just want to ride around on it and get off at some of the stops. It is a lot of fun.
One of my favorite things to do is walk on the waterfront, and then they also have the Katy Trail. So you'll see walkers, bikers. There's actually a cute little shop called the Bike Stop Cafe, and you'll see a lot of the bikers stop and grab lunch or a drink, and it's just a really cool feel. Oh, and you can't forget Grandma's cookies.
Grandma's cookies.
Grandma's cookies is so good.
That's a good one. So the Main Street area is this very old, very charming historic district. But what's cool is that you have all this new development happening right next to it. So one of the big ones is Streets of St. Charles. So it's this big kind of entertainment district right next to Main Street that's recently built. You have a bunch of fun shops, restaurants. You have these apartments that are right there. And it's pretty much on the other side of the highway from Main Street.
I would say it's more of the entertainment area.
Like activities.
Yeah, like on a Friday or Saturday night, it's popping.
Yeah. You have Mission Taco, there's Prosino's, there's a Bar Louie, Picasso's Coffee. Those are just a few of them.
Yeah, there's a ton to do. You have AMC movie theater there, so you could do dinner and a movie. There's also Funny Bone comedy show right next to Prosino. So you could eat a Prosino, step right next door to Funny Bone, catch a comedy show.
Yep.
If you're going during the day or even at night and you got younger kiddos, they have Play Street Museum. There's a lot to offer, honestly. There's so much to do.
It added a lot of activities, so really like you just have more and more options for things to do. So Streets of St. Charles is technically in one of these 6 boroughs that they're building out as these different districts within St. Charles. You have Newtown, Frenchtown, North Main Street, South Main Street, Riverpointe, and South City, which is one of the future phases. All 6 of these are kind of these designated areas that are meant to offer different things to do, different options for living, and kind of attraction-based things you can do. So Riverpointe includes Streets of St. Charles and the Riverpointe Development, which is a massive $350 million development along the river in St. Charles. What they're doing is basically building out this strip along the river that's going to include a bunch of new office space, hotels, apartments, some condos, and townhomes, and bringing a bunch of new options for retail, shopping, and restaurants. They're still in the early phases of this. Chicken and Pickle was one of the latest openings in Riverpointe, and they have a bunch of more stuff that's supposed to be coming in 2024 and 2025.
I'm excited to see.
Yeah,
it's
me
gonna
too.
be fun. Chicken and Pickle is so fun, you guys. You'll have to check it out. Fun fact, right by Chicken and Pickle, they are going to add in a lake. And it's going to be a lake and then an island and then the river. So you're not exactly on the river, but they're adding in that lake. So you're going to have the waterfront feels. Oh my gosh, it'll be so cool walking around at night and just...
It will, yeah, because they're developing the Riverpointe in a couple different phases. So Chicken and Pickle is one example that's in phase 1. They have more stuff they're going to add. There's going to be like a 5-mile river walk that kind of goes along it. So you have the shops and the restaurants, the river walk, and then like you said, the little lake that's going in to separate Missouri River, and then there's Bangor Island, and then the new man-made lake that's going to be in there so that you have that waterfront feel even though you're not actually on the Missouri River. There's a lot of new stuff going on, which will be super exciting. If you're living in the area, you're going to have a bunch of stuff to do. So let's talk a little bit about what it's like to live here and some of the different options you have if you're moving to St. Charles. You really have the full spectrum from whether you're looking for a more urban setting like Streets of St. Charles. You have some apartment complexes and townhome communities, but then all throughout St. Charles, you have a bunch to pick from. Detached villa associations, you have a bunch of residential neighborhoods. So St. Charles as a whole is much more suburban than an area like the city. So it's a lot of neighborhoods, and they range anything from the historic parts near Main Street to some of the brand new neighborhoods and new construction happening. You really have both ends of the spectrum. But St. Charles as a whole is not necessarily this sprawling suburban area with cookie cutter homes everywhere, because you know that's one perception sometimes people have. It does have that feel in some places, but then in other parts, especially near Main Street, you do see some more of these historic neighborhoods with all of that character and charm that you don't always get with a new build home. But then on the flip side, if you're looking for a bigger master plan community, you have options. And especially with Newtown being one of the biggest ones, you have a lot of new homes to pick from.
Yeah, it really is depending on what you were looking for. Newtown is a very unique neighborhood in St. Charles. There's not much like it anywhere else. They have lakes and ponds for fishing. There's some that you can swim in. They have multiple pools, cafes, bars, restaurants. They actually have sand volleyball. So I know the summer leagues there are really fun. They have, I think, 3 churches. And the homes are going to be closer together there. But inside the community, there is so much to offer. So a lot of people love that vibe. You'll see the golf carts riding around. I feel like everyone really knows each other there too. Everyone's super friendly, and it's literally its own little community.
It really is, and I'll show some of the drone footage of what it looks like, because it has this whole new urbanism concept with these very coastal looking homes that all look very, very unique compared to other areas in St. Louis. And I know you lived there for a while, but like it's the thing that I think is really cool about it. I haven't lived there, but I think it's cool how they have it built as like really like a self-contained community. Like you have everything you need within Newtown.
Yep.
You know, your shops, restaurants, groceries, the amphitheater for concerts and stuff.
Yeah, they do multiple concerts throughout the summer. I think movie nights too. There's a lot to offer.
Yeah, it's cool because St. Charles already has a bunch of stuff going on. But if you want even more of like a community feel, Newtown definitely has a lot of that. So Newtown's just one example. You do have a lot of different neighborhoods within St. Charles because it's definitely one of the bigger suburbs of St. Louis. O'Fallon, I think, is the biggest. But you got dozens and dozens of different types of neighborhoods. It's got pretty much everything you could want. So again, if you're moving to the area, just get in touch with us, send us a message. We'd love to help you with that process.
And depending on what you're feeling and what kind of area you're wanting to live in, St. Charles does, as you guys have heard, has so much to offer, from community events, things to do, restaurants, shops, different vibes all around. So it is a really central location, like we talked about earlier. So if you don't want to be quite near in the city, St. Charles is a really close spot to be.
It's one of our favorites in St. Louis. So we hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.